Hi everybody, Dave here, as you can see in the record room. And I don't know if you know, but of course next Saturday is Record Store Day, big day. But yesterday, as today is Sunday, yesterday was Old Record Store Day. Or go along to your record shop and buy some old records. And as there was also a very nice record fair in Nottingham, me and the gang went along, and I've just got to show you the things that I picked up while we were there. Okay, so here we go. Try and keep this as brief as possible. First of all, an oldie but goldie, a great rock and roll record, either the last Rocky Cliff record or the first Cabaret Cliff record, depending on what your point of view is. It's also got the original Shadows on it, but they barely get out of second gear, to be honest. There's a couple of rocking tracks on it, but a little bit too cabaret-like for my liking. But it's still a great record, and for £2.50, and it's the original Columbia as well. Still very playable. The Tremolos from their late 60s, early 70s oeuvre. Now they were a great rock and roll band and a great selection of, not styles, but it's not all the same. There's some very funky stuff, some very good rocky stuff. Very interesting band at that period and always worth checking out. Now this is from, for one day I lifted my ban on, self-imposed ban on the well-known Rob's Record Mart, Hirchyard, Nottingham, which if you know all about it, you'll know it's the sort of place you either love or don't love, really. But I did go in there yesterday with my compadre, and I picked up 2 or 3 nice cheap ones, and this is the sort of record I love. It's a sort of early 70s rock and roll band, the original Ted's there with the hair growing out a little bit. Very poppy and scratchy, but still listenable and a bit of fun. It was only a couple of quid, so nice record. That's the House Shakers, Demolition Rock. This nice one. I got 3 quid knocked off this to make it just 2 quid. Chris Farlowe, one of the great British R&B singers, obviously associated with the Rolling Stones in the 60s. This is with the Fabulous Thunderbirds and Albert Lee, one of the Alberts. I've not played this much yet, but it's a good record. Chris Farlowe, always worth checking out, and some of his records are quite valuable if you can pick them up. From the record fair, again, this was a brand new sealed 2016 pressing of His and Hers, and guess what? I made a mistake because I didn't know what I was doing. This version, as the original didn't have the well-known track Babies on it, and that's really why I bought it. It's the only track that I'd heard before from it, and that's why I bought it. But having played it last night, it's a great record, probably better than This Is Hardcore, and possibly pushing the other one, Different Class. I'm glad I bought it, and it gives me an excuse to buy the EP that's got Babies on that was issued, you know, kind of separately to it back in the day, which you can pick up nicely. So nice stuff. There's a nice guy at the record fair with loads and loads of bins of 4 for a tenner, or £3 each. So it makes sense to get 4 or 8 if you can. So I got 8, and these are sort of very eclectic bunch. Never on a Sunday soundtrack, Hagidakis at his best, a bit of a classic. and I think that's a Canadian copy as well, so I haven't played that yet, but worth having just for the cover. Original copy of Gasoline Alley, the second great Rod Stewart album, and my first Vertigo Swirl. I've got one on the first Rod album, the reissue, but that is an original one, an actual Vertigo one, not a modern day copy. And there he is in all his glory. Now, of course, Rod stopped being good pretty abruptly in about 1977, but before that, any of his records are always worth picking up, in my opinion. £2.50. Those Humphreys Singers, again another interesting early 70s combo, featuring one or two at least members of Boney M. Obviously this was based in Germany and Europe, and they used to go around doing little concerts in capital cities and things like that on a Sunday, I believe. Those sort of things were quite popular then, when there was nothing on the telly, and these sort of afternoon concerts, often sort of Christian type events as well. This is all basically gospel, I think, but some of his other records are much more poppy, with like good cover versions of big hits and things like that. And also notable, I got into these because they did a very excellent cover of Bring Me No More Letters, Send Me No More Letters, the Trapeze song, believe it or not. And there's a nice version of that that they do on another record. More Rod. I hadn't seen this before, I didn't know it existed, but this is some kind of compilation shaped like a whiskey glass, sort of early 70s compilation. I don't know anything about that. I hadn't seen it in Discogs before, so what it is I don't know, but I'm looking forward to finding out. My first ever Folking Fairport record, and I played it again a little bit last night. Sounds great, looking forward to hearing more. I suppose I'm giving away my age now, I'm starting to get into folk. £2.50. Rachel Sweet, original pressing on Stiff Records. I bought her big hit BABY back in the day when I was a kid. Not great to get the album, and it's on white vinyl from 1978. All sorts of the Stiff crew are on here, like Elvis Costello. One or two of the others are involved as well. I think Nick Lowe is involved as well, playing on there as well. So great artifact, £2.50. What are you going to do? This is another new one, or a new sealed record. Anyway, it's not a new record, it's been out for a few years. This one's still sealed. Beavis Frond. Got into these last Record Store Day. It's been around for years. I hadn't heard them at all. I don't know how I'd missed them. Brilliant stuff. You can't really go wrong with this guy, Nick Salomon, I think his name is, the main fella. Beavis Frond. Looking forward to playing this. It's a double, 20 quid, but you know, you've got to treat yourself sometimes. From Rob's again, that's why it's worth popping in if you can face it, and if you wear a crash helmet and shoulder pads. Drag City, Surf City Drag City, a great compilation of surf tunes in there. No bullshit. Brilliant. Another one, a fiver, double album, Rock Begins Volume 1, 1949 to 1955, original pressing, I think. So it's issued in Germany as far as I could tell. You've got the Coasters, Big Joe Turner, the ones that I know, Laverne Baker, Lead Belly, Stink McGee and his Buddies, drinking wine, the original version of Drinking Wine Spodiodi, I think. That's from 1949. So I'm looking forward to playing that. Another double. Trini Lopez for £3. What are you going to do? And it's a Canadian copy. Always good fun. And as an added bonus, stay there, don't go anywhere. The Chris Farlow is, I kid you not, a white label from 1977. Now that's not even on Discogs, so heaven knows how much I could value that out if I put it on, but I don't know if I will. I think I'll keep it. Okay, I now can't afford to go to Record Store Day. I'm going to have to wait till May if there's anything left. Okay, so if you're going to that, I'll see you there. Stay tuned.